heartbeats racing miles apart. Mic in front, guitar screams, topics brewing like a dream. Politics ain't as it seems, headlines drowning in the stream. Random ramblers we set free, truth and chaos for all to see. On YouTube love will be shouting loud in harmony. Opinions clash, no regrets. World's on fire, place your bets. Wisdom wrapped in internet nets. Ramblers straight, no safety nets. Fists in the air, words ignite. Voices raised against the night. Hope and anger fuse and fight. From the dark into the light. Truth tangled in a web of lies. Pain reflecting in our eyes. Random talk as the time flies. Revolution in our cries.
You attract a strike. You attract in the web of life. A view can build in a web of lies. Pain reflecting in our eyes. Random talk as the time flies. Revolution in our cries.
Opinions clash, no regrets. World's on fire, place your bets. When you do not will be shouting loud in harmony. Opinions clash, no regrets. World's on fire, place your bets. When you do not will be shouting loud in harmony. In harmony. Opinions clash, no regrets. World's on fire, place your bets. Wisdom wrapped in internet nets. Ramblers street, no safety nets. Fists in the air, words ignite. Voices raised against the night. Hope and anger fuse and fight. From the dark into the light. Truth tangled in a web of lies. Pain reflecting in our eyes. Random talk as the time flies. Revolution in our cries. Fists in the air, words ignite. Voices raised against the night. Hope and anger fuse and fight. From the dark into the light. Truth tangled in a web of lies. Pain reflecting in our eyes. Random talk as the time flies. Revolution in our cries. dark. Lights flicker, shadows spark. Cameras rolling, gotta start. Heartbeats racing, minds apart. Mic in front, guitar scream. Topics brewing like a dream. Politics ain't as it seems. Headlines drowning in the stream. Random ramblers we set free. Truth and chaos for all to see. On YouTube love will be shouting loud in harmony. Opinions clash, no regrets. World's on fire, place your bets. Wisdom wrapped in internet nets. Rambling straight, no safety nets. Fists in the air, words ignite. Voices raised against the night. Hope and anger fuse and fight. From the dark into the light. Truth tangled in a web of lies. Pain reflecting in our eyes. Random talk as the time flies. Revolution in our cries.
You attract a struck. You attract in the web of life. A view can build in a web of lies. Pain reflecting in our eyes. Random talk as the time flies. Revolution in our cries.
Opinions clash, no regrets. World's on fire, place your bets. On YouTube live will be shouting loud in harmony. Opinions clash, no regrets. World's on fire, place your bets. On YouTube live will be shouting loud in harmony. In harmony. Opinions clash, no regrets. World's on fire, place your bets. Wisdom wrapped in internet nets. Rambling street, no safety nets. Fists in the air, words ignite. Voices raised against the night. Hope and anger fuse and fight. From the dark into the light. Truth tangled in a web of lies. Pain reflecting in our eyes. Random talk as the time flies. Revolution in our cries. Fists in the air, words ignite. Voices raised against the night. Hope and anger fuse and fight. From the dark into the light. Truth tangled in a web of lies. Pain reflecting in our eyes. Random talk as the time flies. Revolution in our cries. a dream. Politics ain't as it seems. Headlines drowning in the stream. Random ramblers we set free. Truth and chaos for all to see. On YouTube love will be.
I'm your host, Jacob Corbett, the Rambler, and this is...
I am RJ Fuller, a good friend of his.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you guys.
We've been friends for about, 3-4 years?
Since late 2021.
Dang. That was a year.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, RJ, what have you been up to recently?
Working.
Working? Where do you work?
Work at UPS. I'm not really supposed to talk about much there, and they heavily monitor that.
Enough said. Yeah.
So,
but you're enjoying it?
Oh, yeah. It's hard work. It's fulfilling work.
Cool.
I'm moving America, you know?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything is sent through UPS or Amazon.
UPS, USPS, FedEx, DHL, those are the big ones.
Exactly.
We ship a lot of Amazon stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, you gonna watch the inauguration this weekend? Yeah, that's gonna be inside.
What time is that?
I don't know. I just figure I'm gonna see it live at some point and be
Yeah.
like, click.
Well, I mean, I work Monday, so I'm working from 7:15 to 4:15, and I feel like it'd be somewhere in that time, so I really won't be able to. If it's during my lunch break, I have an hour-long lunch break, so that might be able to do it then.
Yeah, well.
But are you excited or are you not excited for Trump to get into the White House?
Well, of course I'm excited. He's better than Joe Biden.
In what ways?
He's conscious.
Yeah, that's true.
Biden most certainly wasn't. And at this point, I kind of feel bad for Biden. He was a career politician, is a career politician. Mm-hmm. But the thing about him is he's lost his mind. It feels like elder abuse to me.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty staunch Republican in some ways. In other ways, I'm not.
Do you have any fears about a billionaire running the country? Because billionaires do focus a lot on money. So do you think that there is any selfish goal that Trump has?
It's Donald Trump. He's selfish. That's just a duh question for me. It's there was this Time magazine back in the 80s of him, and it was $1 billion empire and an ego to match, and that perfectly describes Trump.
Yeah. So does that make you scared at all about what he's going to do with our country?
It's going to probably be better than what has been going on. Mm-hmm. I kind of noticed people started going towards Trump in about 2022. I could kind of see some of the cultural undertones pinning towards that way after the midterm elections.
Let me turn this up just a tad.
But especially after the assassination attempt, it really felt like Trump had the wind to his back,
Some people say that was staged for that reason, to make it more his way.
And this has been debunked all over the internet, especially by a man by Mintuswave.
Yeah.
An AR-15 with the stats of that particular gun, because there's a ton of different variants, but the particular variant used was a more generic one, couldn't even begin to hit that shot consistently.
Gotcha.
And it just didn't seem like it was timed at all, and it looked like Trump was in shock himself.
Yeah.
It didn't look staged.
As actors, we know that it's going to be hard to stage something like that.
Well, yeah, and another thing about this is if it was staged, I don't think anybody would have died.
Who all died?
There was that firefighter, remember?
Yeah, I heard about that.
But I saw in people in Las Vegas even, there was interviews in Las Vegas, random people were I don't agree with him, but people shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
This is unacceptable. And
100%.
I felt like the Democrats having to backpedal on their, well, he's a danger to democracy. Well, first off, our country isn't a democracy, it's a republic, constitutional republic. But, that's arguing semantics.
Yeah.
But I just the whole Kamala thing, it just it blew up in the Democrats' face, and it was a long time coming. what I saw in especially 2022, this was another thing I noticed. They spent more money. The DNC spent more money than they brought in.
Yeah.
And this occurred again with the Kamala campaign, because she raised $1 billion and still was like 10 to 20 million in debt by the end of it, and begged her voters for more money after they lost. Like that.
Oof. That takes
my word.
That takes a lot of guts. So there's been some ideas floating around, specifically from Trump himself, that he wants to annex Canada.
Oh boy.
And now the internet is kind of split. 50% say no, 25% say they want to see it happen, and then 25% say that I read the statistics, said that they aren't sure. But only about 10% of Americans actually knew about Trump wanting to annex America. What do you think about that?
Canada.
Canada.
See, I really don't think it's wise.
Mhm.
Like, the thing about Canada is it's been in economic decline for a decade now, and there's some really good there's a really good politician. In fact, my favorite politician currently alive is a Canadian politician. His name's Pierre Poilievre. A lot of people on the internet who talk about Canadian politics will know this guy. He's amazing. Like, he wants to cut taxes, he wants to cut regulations to house building, because over there the housing crisis is like 5 times worse than it is here in the United States. It is horrendous.
Yeah.
And it's all because of, in using Canadian language here, Trudeau's a bit of a hoser.
Yeah. What's that mean?
Basically, he's incompetent, terrible.
I'll agree with that.
And I really think that's what the Democrats wanted to do to the United States. If we were more liberal, we would have gone down that road. I think that's where, like, people like AOC stand. And I'm gonna say this. I think that's where Bernie Sanders stands. Mm-hmm. However, the thing about Bernie is, like, he has a brain inside of him, unlike a lot of people in the political sphere. Like, most of them just fall in line with like because they're sheep, just like their voters.
Exactly.
They're just doing what they think they can get votes out of.
Yeah.
The thing I'm excited for about Trump, though, is get rid of the bureaucrats. They are killing this country. They kill every country they come into contact with. In fact, like, this was a thing I heard. China almost went through a industrial revolution back in, like, the 1300s. But they didn't because of the bureaucrats.
Gotcha.
It's like, that's what destroys countries.
Yeah. I was doing some research on the annex and what the what people think are going to happen if it happens. Some people say that there could be an economy boom, because now we have a lot more resources, we have a lot more people paying taxes, and that could possibly, because of that boom, lower personal income taxes and stuff. And Trump says that if Canada rejects the proposal to annex, then he is going to establish a 25% tariff, which can also increase a large amount of money coming into America.
Yeah, see, they give us a lot of oil on the cheap. It is like they give it at discounts so low. Canada is ripping that Canadian deal is a ripoff. They're ripping themselves off, to quote Pierre Poilievre. And what America does is we take that unrefined natural resource and we turn it into refined resources, and then we sell it across the world.
Yeah.
The thing about Pierre is, like, he's really intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike Trudeau, who doesn't know how to negotiate to save his life, or really know anything about what's going on in this country other than how he can maintain a grip on
He's
power.
just a pretty face.
Are you sure about pretty?
Nope.
I'm not even sure he's that.
It was an expression.
It's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
just like him doing anything good for his country. Anyway, I generally think that trying to take Canada is a terrible, terrible move. Let's not eat our allies alive.
We'd be the biggest country.
We would, but at what cost? We would become an international pariah. We don't need to be that.
Mm-hmm. And there is the chance of higher taxes because there'd be a higher government spending. Because now...
and in the Canadian economy is already in a terrible spot.
Yeah.
So would we really want to justify being the biggest geographic country in the world just to take the economic woes of Canada onto our own backs when we've already got our own woes that we need to deal with? Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think that's a good move.
I think in the future it could possibly be a smart move for both America and Canada, but it's definitely not right now. That's what I decided when I was doing my research. In the future, if both countries could possibly, if we got our own acts together, we could become a great country together, but it would take a lot before we could get there.
And see, I want Canada to just be Canada. I want the United States to be the United States. I love Canada. I love the United States. I love both countries. They've got separate and unique identities, despite what the Europeans will tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Europeans, but you're outvoted on this one. They have completely different things about them that make them unique, make them special, and both of them are better off being allies than being together, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and we're really close allies too. We do more trade with Canada than just about any other country out there. I think they rival China, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed that. But do you think that we should start tariffing more?
No.
No?
No.
But, not only from Canada, but from a bunch of other countries.
I think we should use tariffs as a threat. I don't think we should actually...
But what about the other countries that are tariffing America?
Well, it's like you use tariffs as a threat to orchestrate a better deal for both. Mm-hmm. For both sides. I think that's the main priority there.
Don't you think it could possibly lower our own personal, as citizens, income tax? Because now,
that would be great. I mean,
the tariffs would do that because now.
No.
You don't think that would happen?
It's an indirect tax on the American public because it makes things like groceries, especially, like the most bought grocery item is the banana. We don't grow any here in the United States. Mm-hmm. We import all of that.
Yeah.
So if we tariff imported goods, that is a direct cost to the American public. Yeah. I don't think that's... And we even tried this back in the 1880s. And well, was it the 1880s? I think it was the 1870s. It was the 1870s. Because the economic panic of 1873 was as a result of these... of over-tariffing. And that economic depression lasted nearly as long as the Great Depression, although it was a little bit less terrible.
Do you think there's a sweet spot, though, between no tariffs and too much tariffs?
I think
do you think any tariff is too much?
I think tariffs are bad economic policy, but great diplomatic policy.
Gotcha.
Free trade has... I think free trade is one of the best things to come out of the modern capitalist world.
Gotcha.
And I think it's great. I think it's great because you get things you're not embargoing anybody's production of anything, and it's whoever can compete the best.
Yeah.
Which is how it should be, really.
Exactly.
Under a capitalist society, that's how it works, right?
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you have borderline socialism. You go in that direction.
I don't think it's borderline socialism. I think it's more borderline fascism of all things. I think it's the other way. I don't think it's...
All right, yeah.
It is a more right-wing thing because it does support... It's promoted by, like, especially industrialists back in the day. I think it's more on that far right-wing direction. I don't think it's quite fascist because fascist is just like... We'll do everything ourselves completely. We're not going to import anything. We've got it.
Yeah.
And then, you get the horseshoe theory where communism did the same thing. Mm-hmm. But that's beside the point.
Gotcha. So obviously Trump is a lot different than Biden and Kamala right now. So what are the biggest parts of the economy do you think that are going to change? Like different policies that he's enacting that are going to affect it? Like how do you think it's going to change when Trump has these next 4 years?
It's going to release the floodgates of the free market economy.
And for the better or for the worse?
For the better, obviously.
Yeah.
When you reduce regulation, unnecessary regulation, because there is useful regulation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't work your workers 16 hours and give them no breaks. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, that goes without saying, I think.
Is that OSHA or is that government?
Well, OSHA is government.
OSHA is a private-owned company. I did research on them because
really?
I had to do research on them for carpentry. And OSHA is a privately owned, but they are in a it's a privately owned business, but they have a deal with the government basically that allows them to operate.
So they're technically a company under government control.
Yeah.
Kind of
But
like
it's privately
Amtrak or
owned.
Conrail back
Exactly.
in the day. But it's like
Exactly. One person is a citizen is making money, but the government is implementing the rules.
Yeah.
So that's basically what that is.
Okay.
But so you think that it's going to open free trade more?
Yeah.
In what ways?
Well, I think if you reduce regulations, it's easier to produce stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's easier to produce stuff, you can sell it for cheaper.
Yeah.
Therefore, you can spend more. You can get more product for less money, and then you can spend more money on things that you want to do, like go on vacation, which boosts economies elsewhere. It just builds up rather than stifling and isolating.
So something that Trump has been talking about, we'll get back on this topic, is he wants to implement at least a 10% to 20% tariff to all imported goods, not just Canada. That's what he wants to do. We just had a conversation about this, whether it was good or bad, and your opinion is that it's not good.
I think it should be a purely diplomatic means.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to enforce it, you should.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only to bring people to the negotiating table.
Yeah.
We are the biggest economy in the world, and from what we're seeing with Canada, people are obviously scared of these tariffs. So they do work diplomatically.
He might be saying that just to scare people too.
Well, I think there is he loves a good deal.
Yeah.
Like that's just
so
who
he wrote The Art of the Deal.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a whole show called The Apprentice, which is all about deals.
Yep. I wanted to watch that, but I just never got around to.
Yeah.
Tax cuts. Do you think he's going to do any tax cuts?
I think he will. I think.
For companies or for people?
Yes.
For both?
Yes.
All right. How do you think he's going to do that?
I think he's going to push it through Congress,
Mm-hmm.
which is the only way you can do it legally, constitutionally, that is.
Mm-hmm.
So.
How much do you think he's going to lower it?
He said he wanted to lower it from 21% to 15%.
Dang.
It was at 40%.
Really?
The business tax, yeah. It was the highest in the world.
Yeah.
At the time. Now it's at 21%. Because Biden didn't change it. Because it was actually a smart idea. But Democrats don't like to give any credit to the Republicans, and the Republicans don't like to give any credit to the Democrats if they do have a good idea, which they do every now and then, once in a blue moon.
I was just doing research about taxes earlier today, and it said that corporate tax is actually at 35% right now.
35. Okay,
35%.
so they did raise it. They did raise it. Yeah.
And they're lowering it again.
Okay.
And Trump is actually eliminating federal taxes on all tips.
Yeah, no, that was one thing. If Kamala did win, that was one thing that would also happen, or promise to happen. You never know with politicians.
Yeah.
We don't know with Trump.
No.
He is a politician.
I mean, he's made good on a lot of his word from last.
Well, yeah. But I'm just saying, like, there was
Yeah.
a lot of stuff that he didn't do last term.
And you can blame him, or you can blame COVID. However you want to blame it.
And I'm just gonna leave it up to promises get made, promises get broken. It's just politics.
We got when can people call in? You can call in at any time.
Yes, we
and
love
talk
your
about
calls.
the specific question that we're on, or you can give us an opinion on what you had a little bit ago, and we can talk a little bit on that. But yeah, call-ins are welcome at any time. So Trump also wants to boost fossil fuels.
Good.
So
Drill, baby, drill.
that means gas goes down, which means our pockets get fuller.
Yeah. Well, I noticed like when it was $4 a gallon, man, that was tough.
It killed me.
Yeah. Well, it was tough. I couldn't go and do things.
Nope.
When it dropped, I was like, whoa. I'm
actually able to save money now. What?
It was significant. And it was like saving $20 a week, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It went from $50 to a little over $30.
Yeah.
Which was huge.
Yeah.
Huge. And the government did this because, you know, it was getting closer to, you know, midterms, and it was getting closer to the election, like the presidential election, and then they wanted, so they released a lot of their oil reserves.
Yeah.
So, you know, it cheapened things up a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Biden actually had to reverse a lot of what he said on that, because, you know, votes matter. You want more votes than you do angry citizens about their gas prices.
We'll be on until we're done with this conversation. It might be an hour, it might be an hour and a half. Really depends on how we end and when we end.
Just stay on the line.
So, and another thing that they're saying is going to help the U.S. economy, especially for the U.S. legal citizens, is the immigration policies. The fact that he will be deporting all illegal residents of the United States, which would put more jobs into the hands of American workers.
If they're illegal, are they really residents?
No. So illegal immigrants, I'll say that.
Yeah.
So it'll put more jobs into the hands of Americans. It'll put more housing over the heads of actual Americans.
Yeah.
And I think that's definitely something that definitely needs to happen. We're not sending our prisoners over to Mexico. We're not sending our prisoners over to China, trying to get them off our hands, so that way we don't have to pay for their housing and boarding and stuff. We're not. People aren't just going to other people's countries from our country illegally. I mean, sure, there's going to be one or two. There are people that can get around that, but not in masses of hundreds of thousands. And something else that's going to happen, because a lot of illegal immigrants get paid in cash, which means they don't get taxed, which means actually, if you do the comparison, they're making more than us.
A lot more, yeah.
Which isn't fair for the American citizens.
Right.
And I don't know about you. I've had Mexican built, like illegal immigrant Mexican built
illegal
roofs.
immigrant, because
they're coming from Canada and they're coming from China too.
The thing about it is like I've worked with Latinos from all over Central and South America, and one thing that you got to realize is like the cultural differences are distinct, because you would not call an El Salvadorian a Mexican. That would not go over well.
Gotcha.
You don't compare Hondurans to people from El Salvador. I don't know what you call them exactly.
Gotcha.
I'm working off one cup of coffee, folks. Don't judge. Like, come on.
So yeah, so that's some things that could help the U.S. economy.
But I will say on this immigration issue, I wanted to talk about this a little bit more in depth.
Yeah.
Because I think the United States is built off of the back of immigration. Mm-hmm. It is. So I think it would be a crime to just shut everybody out.
Yeah.
Obviously
we need to have immigration.
And the problem is, it's the incentive right now is to go illegally through. They'll give you a green card if you go in illegally.
Yeah.
They won't give you a green card if you go through the legal route.
Yeah.
They'll reject you.
Exactly.
And part of that is because that system on the border is corrupt.
Yeah.
Like
just like a lot of other places.
Well, this was a story like there were a few Australians wanting to come to the United States to play video game tournaments, and they couldn't get a visa to get into the United States so they could play in that tournament because the immigration office rejected them. That is completely unacceptable.
That's not fair.
And it just seems like if you break the rules, it's a good thing for you. If you follow the rules, you're gonna wind up high and dry, and that's just not okay to me. because there are legitimate cases, a lot of them, a whole lot of them. I mean, just look at Venezuela, look at Cuba. Those people need a way to come to the United States where they can build a life.
And they're taking that away from them. They're taking away that ability.
Yeah. And so it's a twofold issue where we need to pull the leash back on some of these immigration offices and say, you got to be more fair than this, and then you've also got to say, we're not letting anybody in illegally, but we've got to let people in. Yeah. We've got to let a considerable number of people, I think.
Definitely. I mean, it also keeps money circulating too.
Well, yeah, and it will help with inflation too. Yeah. Because if there's more money to distribute that money to, the value of the dollar goes up.
Exactly.
You know, also more people paying taxes if they come through legally, if they get their citizenship.
And like more people that are paying taxes, the lower taxes goes because it's distributed out more.
I'm actually in favor of a one-question citizenship. Are you willing to pay taxes to the United States of America?
Well, I mean, what about criminal history, though?
Well, I mean, the IRS can come after them at that point.
I mean, criminal history as in, like, what if they do pay taxes for their own country, but then
no,
they're rapists
our
in their country?
Pay taxes to our country.
I mean, what history they have in their own personal because obviously we don't want a mass rapist coming into our country.
Well, of course not.
So I mean, wouldn't that be one? Wouldn't we want to do a little bit more research and background checks?
Well, I mean, you do a background check, but it's like it's a little bit more complicated than that. But like that's the general idea I'm going for. Is like my idea is just like it's a harebrained idea. It's not fully fleshed out, but it's kind of the gist of what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking.
Yeah, you want it to be easier for people.
Yeah. Because these are hard workers, man. Like, we need them. We've got a shortage of especially like blue collar workers in our country.
Oh, 100%. I'm a blue collar worker, and I know that.
Yeah, me too. Well, I'm union. I'm union, so
that
like,
makes you blue collar.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, they got that good stuff too.
What?
They got that good stuff to help them with their work.
Oh my word!
I'm sorry.
You
reducing better. Let's change the subject.
I thought you meant like Mexican food or something, like cuisine.
100%. That's what I meant.
Chef's kiss. 10 out of 10.
I love Mexican food.
And not the Taco Bell, not the Taco Bell stuff.
Surely, I mean, everybody that doesn't live under a rock knows this, that Trump is trying to hire Elon Musk to cut spending.
We need to cut our spending. It's too high. We need to cut it.
Do you support that decision to hire on Elon Musk? Because Elon Musk doesn't need money. He'd be doing it as a
Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, those are the two in Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency.
Wait, I thought Doge was a coin.
Well, it's that too, but Doge, the government agency, is the Department of Government Efficiency, and it's only supposed to last 26 months. Those two are coming on as strictly advisors on what should be done. Yeah. They are not technically...
They don't have power.
They have no governmental power, so they can just be brought on.
100%.
I'm in favor of that, yeah.
Like, me too.
Get rid of the...
You cut spending.
Get rid of the bureaucrats.
You cut
down
spending,
with the bureaucrats, man.
Yeah.
Down with the bureaucrats.
I think every politician can take a pay cut. A little bit.
Yeah.
Because when you have people... When you have a high enough pay that you want to do it for the money, that's when you have problems. You should have people in there that make a good living from it, so they can support their family, but also to where it's not only about the money, where they want to support their country too. Yeah,
I agree with that. But also, did you know that our Speaker of the House, I can't remember, Mike Johnson, Mike Johnson, he's on the verge of bankruptcy, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
How come?
Yeah. Probably because he didn't listen to Dave Ramsey.
I've read a few.
Even if you don't like the person, even if you don't like Dave Ramsey, let me tell you, he's got the best.
100%.
He's got the best financial advice out there.
I'd like to see him and Cardone have an argument because they come from completely different.
Who's Cardone?
He's the guy that's like, you want debt. Like, you want debt because debt. It's a big, long process about why you want debt and like there's this other guy that is like a multi-trillionaire, but he's like a multi-billionaire, but he's trillions of dollars in debt because of different things, and he says it's good for some reason. So there's definitely, I'd love to see them in a debate to see what happens, because his method works. He's a very rich man.
Yeah, until he goes default because he can't pay a bill.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it all snowballs.
He says you have to leverage the debt with the someone such.
There is
I don't understand
no.
I don't understand it.
The debt isn't being leveraged. It's the bank leveraging you. That's what's going on there.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be making out with the bank. They're the worst.
I would hope not. It's a building.
Well, not like that, but I mean like they're the worst billionaires out there.
Yeah.
I mean, just watch It's a Wonderful Life for context.
Yes. Yes.
Favorite movie, by the way. Great movie. Fantastic movie.
All right. What are you most excited for?
Sleep.
I'm talking about in the political sense, with Trump coming in. What makes you the most excited to see him in action?
J.D. Vance.
J.D. Vance.
I like J.D. Vance.
Do you like him more than you like Trump?
Oh yeah.
Like I'm talking about like as a politician, not as a person.
100%. Yeah.
What is he doing that you're a fan of?
He's just a guy that's a politician. He's a guy that just so happens to be a politician.
Yeah, he's not a politician that's a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not a politician that just so happens to be a guy.
Did you hear him tell Kamala off? That was awesome.
I haven't heard that, but
like he did it in the most respectful way, but like in the most respectful way he said, "Shut up."
Yeah,
it was so funny.
He's pretty common sense. He says some goofy stuff every now and then, but generally I like him pretty well.
Yeah.
And one of the things that made me like him was he talked like he was a genuine person on the Joe Rogan podcast, which I know. Ooh, scary Joe Rogan.
I like Joe Rogan.
Especially if you're more on the left, it's like, ooh, scary.
I love Joe Rogan. He is not afraid.
Speaking of the left and YouTube and things and podcasts, my favorite lefty right now, Shoe on Head. I don't know if you've heard of her, but that's her YouTube channel. That's what she called. That's what her YouTube channel's called. She's great. The VTubers love her. What?
Keep going. Keep going.
What's going on here, man?
Please keep going.
So she's really tackling some of the more social issues and doing it with class, and it's not something I've seen from anybody else.
Yeah.
Like the rest. Why are you laughing?
No, just keep going, bro.
I'm sorry. I gotta call you out, man. Like,
can't say that on YouTube, bro.
What?
What's in my head? Just keep going.
Fair enough.
Just keep going.
Fair enough. And you know, she's not like, every Republican's a Nazi. It's like, it's not like Voosh or Destiny or anything. By the way, the best of the bread tubers is Destiny, and that's a pretty low bar. But
what's bread tuber mean?
Basically, lefty YouTubers.
Gotcha. My personal most exciting thing I'm excited for is one of them. I have a few on this board. Is the deportation of illegal immigrants, and we already discussed why I'm excited for that. Tax cuts, we've discussed that. Border security. Not only is he deporting, he's also heightening the security for America. Not like in the what it takes to get in, but he's finishing the wall, putting more guards up there.
I see.
And even with that too, it's not just about the immigrants. It's about, honestly, we don't know if a military comes up to our walls, we're kind of screwed.
Yeah, our Navy would take care of it.
Yeah, but in the moment, it'd be kind of scary. It'd be better for everyone's peace of mind.
No country had. I don't think that at all.
Yeah.
Because no country has no other country other than the United States really has an expeditionary force. That kind of force is an expeditionary force is a military that can go overseas and set up shop in another country and wage war at any sizable scale.
Yeah.
Most countries have a defensive war network. They can fight a defensive front. Very few countries, very few.
Which ones would you say could? China and Russia?
No, not even them.
Not even them.
Well,
What about those drones?
Well, the problem with Russia is their logistics. They don't have any trucks, and their rail system. Ukraine intentionally switched up their rail system from the broad gauge 5 foot to a narrower 4 foot 8.5 inches gauge to comply with the Europeans before the war, and so like the logistics really doesn't work out for Russia, and they don't have the cargo aircraft capacity either. So it's they can't wage war over any territory whatsoever. That's why they've not made any progress, really, outside of initial gains. And even then, they've lost quite a bit. Yeah. Like they were like miles out of Kyiv when the war started. Now they're not.
Yeah.
But you also have like China. They're incompetent. Like they're filling their missiles with water instead of fuel.
Really?
Oh yeah. This
How come?
was CIA knowledge that got released. So how come? Because it's a corrupt military. It's communist. What do you expect?
But what is the water's gonna make it go worse?
Well, there's no fuel in them.
Exactly.
It's just water. So they won't even lift off.
So they care more about. So
it's a paper tiger.
Yeah.
It's a paper tiger.
Yeah. So that to scare off everyone else.
It's a paper tiger. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So we talked about tariffs. I'm personally, I'm pro small tariffs. And like we said, good for leverage.
Diplomatic leverage.
Exactly. So that's why I'm pro tariffs. That way we can get another country to the point where they're basically on their knees.
I wouldn't like to get a country on their knees, personally, but I'd like to bring them to the negotiating table and orchestrate a deal that's good for everyone instead of just good for one side or the other. Yeah. Because I want to work with countries, not overpower them. Yeah. Because the United States does kind of have that reputation, and I don't like that reputation. Yeah. We're supposed to be the beacon of hope. We're not supposed to be the
tyrants.
The cause of sorrow. Yeah.
I'm also a fan of because, like we said earlier, Trump is really promoting fossil fuels. Yeah. It's a big part of his campaign, and something I'm super excited for. Okay, the transgender military ban.
I'm not even going to touch that one.
All I'm going to say is that because of this, the reason why they're banning it is because men claiming to be women are going into the women's barracks, and lo and behold, our women troops are having babies.
Yeah, well, that's been kind of a issue. Well, that kind of thing where it's like incompetent things like that, where men just doing men and women doing their thing, doing their biological thing. That's been a problem for a long time. Yeah. But the transgender issue is just not one I want to get into. Yeah. Because I don't have the full I don't have a full grasp of that situation. So.
Well, that kind of sucks, because the whole another segment I was gonna do was LGBTQ changes and what's changing as far as that. We don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
Well, that I really don't think there's a political stomach for that. I think everybody's just kind of tired of
it being forced down our throats.
On both sides. On both sides. Well, you've got the Republicans saying this is wrong, and then you've got the Democrats saying this is right, and it just everybody's fed up with it. We don't want to hear about it anymore. Yeah. Everybody's so sick and tired of this whole debate. We just want to get it over with. We don't care anymore.
What I care about is make it illegal for people that are born a man to go into women's restrooms.
Well,
now you can have your own transgender bathroom.
I think that's a state issue. That's a company issue. I don't think that's a federal issue.
It's also schools though. The public school system is ran by the government.
Well, I don't think children should be transitioning.
No, because they shouldn't have the right to choose that because
they can't consent.
Exactly, you can't consent until you're 18, and their parents can't force them to neither.
And I can tell you, just came out of puberty. Things are fricked up, man. Like, I'm like, for girls it's much worse. Like, it's much worse for girls, and for boys it's no easy thing either. But it's
I would not want to be a girl and go through that.
Oh gosh,
that's what I'm gonna say.
Oh gosh,
no, thank you. That'd be hard.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
kudos to you women out there. Like,
yes,
y'all are strong.
Yes, I couldn't imagine. being a woman. Now, yeah, it sucks.
I actually think pregnancy hurts more than getting kicked in the balls.
Yeah, because kicked in the balls goes away after a little bit. Pregnancy pains.
That lasts for like 24 hours.
Exactly. Like, even longer if the pregnancy is longer.
And it hurts. Like,
it hurts.
Whew.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
That went off the rails very quickly.
Yeah. But also he's making it illegal for, he's cutting the spending, like he's completely cutting it for teaching LGBTQ in schools. Which I think I'm pro that because you shouldn't be teaching kids sexual things in a public school system.
Well, I mean, there's the counter argument that there's sexual things in the Bible, so it's like.
But your parents are reading that to their children.
The Song of Solomon, for instance, is a book about those kind of things.
My parents never read that to me until I was like 12.
Well, but I'm just saying, like, there's the counter argument there where it's like, ooh, gotcha. And it's like
I would say it, but there's also
that is a more complicated issue than it seems on the surface.
Yeah.
Because this is where I'm like, I don't like legislation on too much because it could be used counterproductively both ways.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, if we're gonna. My opinion is, if we're gonna teach the LGBTQ stuff, we got to teach the Christian stuff. We got to,
Yeah.
If you're gonna go full diversity, you gotta go full diversity, and I mean full diversity. Mm-hmm. Every different culture has to be taught. That's.
I heard from a public schooler friend that and maybe because you were public schooled for a little bit. It was private.
Private, yeah.
All right. Well, public schools. They teach almost every religion except for Christianity. They teach Satanism.
Gosh.
They tell you all about Satanism. Not everything, obviously, but they talk about it. They talk about every religion except for Christianity.
Yeah.
And it's illegal for them to talk about Christianity.
Well, yeah, because they took Bibles out of school.
They took Bibles out of school. They took away the Pledge of Allegiance.
They did?
They did. A lot of schools don't even hang the flag anymore.
Well, I mean, they don't hang the American flag, but
yeah, you got me there. They hang plenty of other flags.
Yeah, the communist one, I'm joking.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's school system's rough. And here's the thing about the school system. School systems are way overfunded. The problem is not that there's not enough funding in the school system. It's the problem that the funding is going to all the wrong places. Mm-hmm. There was I saw a chart where it was like, I'll pull it up here if I can, but it was like 90% of the growth that happened in the education system was not to funding for the teachers, not funding for student materials. It was funding for administration, which is totally insane. Our teachers deserve the money. They're teaching our children.
Yeah.
And, they're doing a job that is absolutely critical for the survival of any nation, let alone the United States.
Schools should not be making a profit. They should be breaking even.
Well, the problem is it's the administration, the bureaucrats that are making the money. It's not the teachers who are on
Exactly.
the troops on the ground essentially doing the actual work. They're doing the thing. Whereas like the bureaucrats, they're like they piddle around all day doing nothing but busy work.
Yeah, and if you care about the more money you make, obviously the more you're going to care about your job, right?
Well, the more you should care, but
Exactly.
that doesn't always translate.
Well, yeah, but I feel like for the majority of people, it would make them care more about what they're teaching. If we gave them more pay, they wouldn't be like,
Well, yeah.
I'm doing this for because if I was working at McDonald's, I would not be working as hard as I would if I'm working as an electrician. Does that make sense?
No,
Because
I would work as hard either way, but that's just me.
well, I'm talking about like the majority of people.
Well, yeah, no, the majority of people for
Obviously,
sure.
I work as hard as I can whenever I can.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I mean I live on a freaking farm.
I worked as hard as I did at a $16 an hour job as I did a $23 an hour job.
Yeah.
But like, it was like it was just like that's my duty. I've got to do the thing.
Exactly.
It's like that's how it goes.
Yep, 100%. What do you think about lowering income tax? Not income tax. No, not tax. Lowering minimum wage.
Lowering minimum wage.
It's a tricky subject.
I haven't even thought of that.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about that fully. So, I don't know about that one. To quote a famous meme.
I think that it's more of a corporate thing than a government thing. But I feel like people working fast food jobs, minimum wage jobs, are making too much money. When you're making $16 an hour flipping a burger, that's kind of ridiculous. Because I was making, as a carpenter, I was making $18.08. I was doing a very physical job, but I was paying union dues. I was making about $15.80 an hour profit.
I don't really think about that in that way.
And because they're making so much money, it costs the restaurant to have to sell their food for more, which means that the people that are buying, it's a domino effect.
And see where I'm sitting is like, it's giving these sit down restaurants an economic boom right now, and they're higher quality food anyway. And it's healthier for the average American to get higher quality quality food that's not as fast, but generally still fast.
Yeah.
And it's better for them.
Yeah, but I'm talking about from the economy
and I'm
perspective.
I'm looking at it as fast food will hurt the economy more in the long run, because if people aren't healthy, then they can't dedicate as much of their labor to the economy. And they're going to be sicker, they're going to be sadder, they're going to be more isolated.
Yeah.
And that's just not that's not ideal.
Yeah, and you think that would happen if we lowered income tax, minimum wage?
I think that could be a very possible potentiality.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. This is conjecture. So take this all with a grain of salt for the folks of you at home, or on the road, or anywhere you're listening. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me, from working in the trades, personally, I'm a little pro lowering it because it can be a little annoying, looking at someone making more than me when I'm doing harder work, if that makes sense.
And see, I'm just saying, skill issue, get over it.
Maybe I'm just selfish.
Aren't we all selfish?
That's true. We're all humans.
Yeah.
We are all humans. Oh, my neck.
Well,
Your mom. Well said, Dookie.
Yes.
Well said.
Yes. Truly a quote of all time.
Yeah. So, what else did you want to talk about?
I don't know, man. Let's talk about VTubers for a second.
That's going a bit off subject, but I guess we could.
Well, I've gotten back into watching VTubers. I kind of have a love-hate relationship when it comes to watching VTubers.
Yeah.
Because they're either the most cringe creatures on the face of the earth, or they are the most base creatures on the face of the earth. There is absolutely no in between. And, it's like, there's some that are hilarious. There are some that do some more politics and just generally talking about things and talking about issues and things. There's some that do more memes and stuff, and it's like it's an interesting cultural trend that popped up in pretty much the last 4 years.
Yeah.
What I've seen with this is like it caters generally to young men, young adult men, people our age, like that generally towards people that age, but
They have an opinion but are too scared to give it.
Well, it's just like it's fun. Like we're watching these people have fun, doing things like playing video games, just like chatting with people.
Exactly. That's basically what I do this for. It's just
well,
it's fun.
it feels normal.
Yeah.
It's a sense of normalcy, and I think people are sleeping on it because people want to act a little goofy. Yeah. Like that's just how it is.
Yeah. That's why I do this.
Does
that make me a VTuber?
Well, you have to have like an avatar and things.
Oh,
and,
gotcha.
I've thought about being a VTuber, yeah.
Gotcha.
But
That'd be cool.
I mean, here I am in the flesh. I'm not exactly.
Oof, we already messed that one up.
Well, yeah, I've already committed a taboo. Who cares?
I
don't care.
Oh, there was something. There was something I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, something that kind of makes me not mad in today's culture is men are typically very like I don't know how to say this. We aren't very well supported. Like the one guy we have on the internet is Andrew Tate, and
no, we have others. We have Jordan Peterson.
Yeah,
we have
It's not as many.
We have in the past couple of years, we've had a lot of good men come up. Like Joe.
It's getting a little bit better.
Well, Joe Rogan's like. He's kind of your more centristy guy. That's like he's just kind of a dude. He's a bro,
Yeah.
Like that's why people like him. You've got, you've got some really good people out there. Jordan Peterson, like that was an inspiration for me.
Yeah, I love Jordan Peterson. He's a great guy.
Pierre Polyev, he's a politician, but
haven't seen him.
He's online a lot.
Gotcha.
But
you've named 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I'll go on Snapchat Reels and I'll just scroll, and there are these hundreds of girls giving women horrible advice for guys.
Well,
horrible dating advice.
Yeah. Well,
I think that
people lost the art of dating.
Yes.
And another really good channel for men is there's a couple more.
What If Alt Masculinity is a good one.
Well, What If Alt Hist is another good one. He's more philosophical and he's more cerebral. Yeah. He's more cerebral. I really like his stuff. It's anthropology, philosophy, history, all of those things kind of raveled into one, and talks about like politics and stuff of the current day through those lenses. And I really like that stuff. And it, he's talking about stuff like young white men have no real buy-in into the current sway of things because we're demonized essentially for being young white men, because we're
young white straight men especially.
We are the oppressors apparently, like, and I'm sure there's some that are, and
definitely
there's some that are victims, but you can't you can't. The problem is that it's, going back to Martin Luther King Jr., it's like, not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
Yeah. Like the average man you walk into on the street is not going to be a misogynist guy.
Well, I mean, depends on what you're...
What street you're working.
It depends on what's
misogyny.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What is misogyny?
A lot of people consider me as a misogynist.
Why?
Especially very, very feminist people, like the raging feminists. Because I want to stay at home housewife. I want to stay at home housewife, and apparently that's misogynistic to the feminists.
Well, the problem is like, did you see like the trad wife trend?
What's that?
It's where like women were staying at home, cooking, cleaning, and doing all that stuff, and the feminists went nuts over it because they were like, oh my word, like it's they called it internalized misogyny is what they called it.
If the girl's happy, the girl's happy.
Well, yeah, it's like this was something Siobhan had covered, and she was like, you know, listen to, believe all women, not that woman. You know, that's how she put it. And I was like, that's brilliant. You know, like
100%.
I'm like, good for you, Siobhan. Had like,
Yeah.
You're rocking it out there.
Like 50-50 culture nowadays. Like some people are for it, some people are against it. Like 50-50 culture. I'll go 50-50 with you if you're going to be.
I'm paying for the date.
No, so the
Girls,
way I see
girls actually get scared off by that a lot of times.
Yeah,
it's weird because I'm like, I want to pay for the date. It's not that I want something from you. It's that I want to give you something.
If I'm
good,
if I'll pay for the date if you let me open the door for you. Otherwise, I don't really want you as my person because that's like it's my honor to be able to do that.
And see,
I'm not saying I'm stronger than you.
This is something that I've kind of. This is a note for you, gentlemen. If you've got a girl saying like, if you really like this girl and this girl saying like, I'm an independent woman, I can do everything on my own. It's like, yeah, but it's nice to have help every now and then, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like that's a good way to put it because you're not trying to say like, I'm trying to rob you of your independency. I'm trying to say, I want to come along and be there, you know? It's like,
yeah.
I feel like that's a pretty good way of putting it. I don't know how other people view it, but you know, it's how I see things. You know, dating's weird, man. It's whack. You know.
Yeah. 100%.
Just and men and women's relationships right now totally messed up.
Yeah.
We've seen like divorce rates climb over the decades, and men and women in a large part aren't talking to each other. It's awful.
It's because every time I feel like every time I see online a man tries to approach a woman and be like, hey, you're gorgeous, she's automatically assuming he's going to take advantage of her, and so she's basically pushing him like she's running away.
But that's because she's been screwed over by other men in the past.
Or she's seen it online.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like more often you'll see people get screwed over, and then you know like I heard it described by a VTuber earlier today. If you kick a dog enough times, like the dog gets scared if you come near it because you know it's like, you know that's what it's been trained to do at that point. It's like it's trained to not want that because it's like, and I'm not saying people are dogs. Like no.
But then there are some of those girls that don't even give men a chance.
Well. Yeah, I mean, there's that, but there's also men that don't give women a chance.
Yeah, because they expect them to be gold diggers.
At my old job, one of the people I worked under said every woman is a succubus, and it's like, no. What are you on? No. No. I've known far too many good women for that to be the case.
Yeah.
They can't all be lying to me. There are, 4 billion women in this world, and the fact that they would all be that, you know...
There's more women than there are men, so
There are? Okay.
It's 51% women,
okay.
49% men.
Semantics.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've got a lot of viewers.
Do we?
Wow. But, it's just wild to me. And this is an interesting thing. Men are skewing more conservative and women are skewing more liberal.
Because of the feminist movement.
And then you've also got like the red pill you've got the red pill community, the manosphere.
You don't want to get me started on that.
And I'm just going to say I try and stay out of the manosphere as much as possible because it's mostly toxic. You've got one good person every now and then. You've got, and then you've got bad people like you've got Andrew Tate, you've got Sneeko, like those are like, oh my word. There was also that like just Pearly things. Oh, I loathe
Pearl. You don't like Pearl?
Oh, I can't stand her.
You can't. What do you dislike about her so much?
She is a pick-me. I don't say
this
that.
This is the
I don't.
first thing that we've disagreed on since you came down here. I love Pearl.
She is a pick-me. Because she is never on the side of the woman, even if the woman is right. Because there are times that the woman is right in some of the stuff she reviews. I've seen it. It's like That woman is right. That man is wrong. That man needs to suck it up and grow. That woman needs to get some healing in her. You know, it's like.
I've never seen one of the videos where she was wrong. Maybe you could send me some.
Yeah, well,
but from what I've seen,
I just blocked her. I think on YouTube.
For me, it was nice to see a woman standing up for a bunch of men.
And see, I think Shoe Head does that. Brett Cooper does that.
Brett Cooper, yeah. Brett Cooper's cool about that.
By the way, did you hear about all the crap going on at the Daily Wire over that?
About her retiring?
They kind of pushed her out a little bit.
Really?
See. Like, there was some weird stuff going on, and one of the things that was said is, like, on TikTok, her viewers were saying, if you're under an NDA and you can't talk about it, wear blue. And on the day she retired, she wore blue. And then there's a ton of things going on, like, she unfriended Reagan Conrad, which was her best friend and producer, who's since took over the show, not very well. She's not been very successful.
Yeah.
But you know, there's a lot of stuff going on there, and it's been popcorn eating content for me. Well,
we have a comment in the comment section saying we hate Pearl. Do you want to call in and tell us your opinion on that? You can call into the phone number 502-767-9622. That's 502-767-9622. If you want to voice your opinion for all of the subscribers and viewers to listen to.
Yeah. We'd love to hear it, folks.
We'd love to, and I might not agree with it, but I'm open-minded, so we're welcome to hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, they said honestly, sure. So we should be getting a call any minute.
All right, let's go. Let's talk to some people.
Our first call-in of this entire podcast that I've had.
All right, let's go, man.
Let's do this.
Let's go. All right. So, you want to know how you catch a polar bear?
How do you catch a polar bear?
Well, you dig a big hole in the ice, and you set little peas around the hole. So when the polar bear goes to take a pee, you kick him right in the ice hole.
Oh, dang. Hello, caller. Do you want to give your name, or do you want to keep that anonymous?
Ooh, keep everything anonymous.
Keep everything anonymous.
All right. I respect that.
So, you said you hate Pearl. What is your reasoning behind this?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't hate her. I feel really bad for her.
Yeah.
Really?
How come?
Yeah. Because she has said she has a very low self-esteem, and that is the reason
That makes sense.
But your comment said you hate her.
She says. Yeah, I know. My comment also says your mom, and
okay, you're not wrong about
first day
that.
God said let us cook, and then he cooked, and yeah.
All right. So okay, makes sense. So you feel bad about her, bad for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Anything else you want to say while you're on the podcast?
I dated your mom in high school.
Interesting.
Which one of our moms?
My mom only had 2 boyfriends all of high school.
Both of them. Well, she had a girlfriend.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
She didn't tell you about me.
Gotcha.
She must have forgotten about you.
Oh, roasted.
Okay,
Roasted.
Well, I'm about to forget about both of you. Bye.
I don't think my mom forgot about me because I still live with her. Anyway.
Whoops.
Oops. Yeah.
I gotta turn that down.
Yeah.
All right.
Well.
So if anybody else wants to call in at any point, give us your opinion on things, you're more than welcome to. Phone number is 502-767-9622. And that is my personal cell. So don't be randomly calling me while I'm at work, please.
Actually, please do. It would be an absolute great troll. We would love it. I would love to hear about it, you know?
Maybe I'll have a whole podcast dedicated to talking about all the crazy things people have called me about.
Yeah, no, that would actually be a really good idea.
That would be like a whole 15-minute little short podcast about that.
Maybe not a podcast, maybe just like a
YouTube short.
Regular video.
Gotcha. Regular long form. That would make sense. But yeah, if you guys ever feel like calling about anything, really, this is called Random Ramblings with the Rambler for a reason. We ramble about anything.
He's a rambler, he's a gambler.
If you've watched any of my YouTube lives, you know I'll just talk about anything for hours on end.
Yeah, he will. He's crazy like that, you know?
Yeah. I'll talk to myself if I have to.
Yeah.
I'm crazy like that.
Yeah.
I'm crazy like that.
Yeah.
So,
Did you hear about the Spiffing Brit? He's got about 1 million subscribers. He broke the YouTube algorithm again.
Spiff and Brit?
The Spiffing Brit.
The Spiffing Brit.
So what he did is he made a 28-minute video.
Yeah.
And then he said, this video will self-destruct in like 15 hours.
Yeah.
At the start. I watched it, and I watched it to its completion. And what he said he was going to do is he was going to cut the video in half so that it would get higher retention rates.
Cut it in half how?
Like, use the YouTube editing feature to cut the video.
Yeah.
So he did that, and then what he also did is he had his viewers type trending words in the comment section. So, like, you know, you would get like someone would be searching Taylor Swift, and it would be the Spiffing Brit breaking YouTube algorithm. You know, it would be something goofy like that. Mm-hmm. And then another thing is that there would be the complete other part of the video he deleted, and he told people he was going to delete it. And so what people did is they they recorded that part, mm-hmm. and then they posted it to YouTube, and then people went searching for that other part.
Got more.
And so that made that channeled his search engine results.
Yeah.
And then that helped his backlog of content too.
Yeah.
YouTubers, don't try this at home, otherwise YouTube will fix that. I mean, it's probably
YouTube in the works right now.
YouTube's goofy.
It's kind of like a scam, like getting a credit card and like one that has like 5% cash back, and then you get another one that has 5% cash back, and you're just paying them off with each other.
Yeah.
To get that cash back. Mm-hmm. I heard about someone that did that. He made like $1 million, and then they took it all.
I don't see how that's possible. Like, he didn't really.
I know. It was the government will do illegal things, so will banks. So
yeah, well, I mean, we kind of bank on that, you know. Mm-hmm. But it's also stealing money out of everyday pockets.
100%.
So yeah. I can kind of understand it there.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what are you up to these days?
These days, really work. Work's a big part of my life right now. I'm starting a new job on Monday, Vibe Electric. I'm so excited for that. I'm getting back into the field I really love.
Woogie.
Field I really love. Making more money, better hours, all that stuff. More overtime if I want it.
Yeah, that's
with taking away overtime tax. That's gonna be awesome.
Gonna
be awesome.
Oh yeah. The way my job works is like once you're paid 5 hours for that day, anything over that is overtime pay.
Gotcha.
So cool. It's like that's real great for me. Like that'll be oh so sweet, because that was one of the at my old job, that was one of the things is like my overtime pay would get taxed so heavily. Like a quarter of my pay would go to the government. It was brutal. And that's not even covering like Social Security. It was just brutal. Yeah. I hated it. And once you see the way you're taxed and how much just comes out of your pocket. You know, this is something Pierre talks about, like Pierre Polyev. I'm going to mention him again. I love him. He's great. He's like, he wants people to be able to spend money how they see fit. Yeah. Because it's their money. You know, it's how they... It's their money, you know? It's how it should be.
Exactly.
He says bigger citizens, smaller government. And I absolutely agree with that. I thought that was a stroke of brilliance right there.
Yeah.
He actually went on the Jordan Peterson podcast recently.
Yeah.
I watched. That's one of. I don't listen to podcasts all that often, but that was one that I was like, I gotta watch this.
Yeah. Because
I love Peterson. I love Polyev. Mm-hmm. I've got a weird interest in Canadian politics, so it's interesting all around. Britain's going off the rails right now.
Really?
Oh yeah. They're wanting to extradite Americans from the United States for breaking British thought crime laws.
Thought crime?
Yeah.
Thought crime?
Yeah.
What's thought crime?
Like, wrong think.
Like thinking wrong things?
Thinking the not correct thoughts.
So like having an opinion?
Yes. Essentially.
And they're trying to trying to punish Americans
Well, yeah.
for thinking wrongly about Britain.
Especially when they post memes about Britain, how stupid their current bureaucratic nightmare is.
Yeah, man.
And so my reaction to that was like, you can try and get us, but...
I mean, we beat you last time.
3 words. Boston Tea Party.
We beat you last time.
We actually beat them twice.
We beat you multiple times.
Canada beat us in that war, that second war. We beat the British in that war. I mean, Canada was...
How did Canada beat us?
It's the War of 1812 that ended in 1814.
Gotcha.
1815. 1814, 1815, sometime around there. So, Canada was like... They smoked us. Like, they smoked us.
Yeah.
Initially, then it kind of went into a stalemate. They were the ones that burnt down the Capitol. It wasn't the British, it was the Canadians, you know. They're known for their war crimes, you know.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Wait, no, that's I was trying to do Canadian, but that's Wisconsin.
Well, you know, it's we're known for war crimes, eh? You know.
There we go.
A. You know, they think they don't have an accent like that. A lot of
I've met Canadians,
especially in BC.
I've met Canadians,
especially in BC.
You guys do have that. I know we probably don't have any Canadians watching.
Either that or they sound like baguette, ho, ho, ho.
They sound French?
Well, Quebec, they're a French-speaking province.
Gotcha.
So everything's written in French there. Like, it's primary French. And it's written into the laws that it's primarily French. It's really interesting. You know, whereas everywhere else, you know. And here's something else about Canada. 9 years ago, they were at parity with the United States in terms of economic income, or in terms of GDP per capita, at parity with the United States. Now, their richest province, Ontario, is poorer than the poorest state in the United States, that being Mississippi. So, this is the cost of socialist policies. What you're seeing in Canada, that is what socialism will do to a country over a decade. They are lucky it's only going to last a decade. If you want to see what socialist policies do over a lifetime, look at Argentina.
Yeah.
Until recently. You know, I mean, it's just, socialist policy just does not work. It's a great, well-meaning ideology until it's not. It just, I've searched and tried to find a way to think about it in ways that it would actually be beneficial, but I just, after 2 years of trying, the math just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
The math just doesn't work out for me.
Math doesn't math.
Yeah.
Why'd they have to go and change math?
Well, it's racist, you know.
How's that?
Didn't you hear about that headline a couple of years ago? It's like, math is racist, so they don't teach it in schools or something. I don't know.
Is it actually? Like, do people actually believe it's racist?
I mean, there's probably some progressive out there that believes that. Progressives are crazy, you know?
Also, the vegan teacher is astronomically racist. I watched a video.
The vegan teacher is just astronomically...
insane. Incompetent.
I don't want to say stupid, because that would be...
harsh?
That'd be a little degrading to the word stupid.
Okay.
She went after Call Me Chris, another.
I saw that.
And for whatever reason, Call Me Chris was just the big target. I don't get it.
Because she slapped back, and she was funny about it.
I loved Gordon Ramsay's slap back.
Yes.
Where it was like, ate the salad at first and then took a massive honking bite out of a burger and said, "You effing donut." You know, that was some peak comedy right there.
I watched that. I was laughing so hard.
We love Gordon Ramsay.
Yes.
We love Gordon Ramsay.
I'm in this group chat. My nickname is literally the Gordon Ramsay of people.
Really?
Yes.
I'm surprised. They don't cuss anybody out.
No, well, they have this chat where you're supposed to like send pics and people rate you. Well, I'm like ruthless. I'm ruthless when it comes to grading. people. I'd be like 3.7.
You effing donkey.
4.3. You look like a tomato with eyeballs. Like, I'm very,
You look
very
like you look
straightforward.
You look like Lord Farquaad, you know?
Yeah, you guys, if you guys want honest opinions of your own looks, I'll be very honest with you. You can send pictures to my email address, JacobKCorbett@gmail.com, or you can send them to my phone. Only appropriate photos, please. 502-767-9622. Yeah.
He's probably gonna say that you look ugly. Just saying. Just saying.
I'm very truthful.
Just for the funsies. I'm just saying. Like,
I'm very truthful, and I have a girlfriend, so that might sway my opinion a little bit. A little bit.
Yeah.
Was there anything we were going to try to talk on that we didn't get to talk on?
I don't know. I mean, like, let's talk about the California fires, because those were pretty bad.
Yes. Did you know that there's a theory? So right before the California fire started, I actually was watching a video on this. The Golden Globes happened the day before.
Mm-hmm.
At the Golden Globes, they were like, you know how like they have the polls and like how many people thanked their mom, their cast and crew and stuff. So they were like 13 people thanked their mom, 12 people thanked the cast and crew, and 0 people thanked God. That's right, because we live in a godless country. And she just went on and was like making fun of God and stuff. And then the day after, in LA, the fire started. In LA. Now, is that God's hand? I don't know. God did say he's not going to bring judgment upon his people until the end times. And I can't see God like going that big of a punishment right now. Granted, he's God. He works in mysteries. He works in mysteries.
Mysterious ways.
Yeah, mysterious ways.
I think that's the term you're looking for.
We can't really say it was God. We can't say it wasn't God. It's a very interesting opinion for sure because it was right after. Maybe someone got mad about that or something and started a fire, or who knows? I mean, they definitely don't give Christians a good name if they did that.
Well, the way I see it is like
There's a Muslim. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke.
even I don't understand him sometimes. Good grief, man. But yeah, I've got family that lives out in California, so it's kind of rough to see. I'm kind of, I don't like this happening to anybody. I don't care who they are. I don't like human suffering. That's my philosophical position. I don't like human suffering. I don't like it. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you believe. I just don't want you to suffer. And I believe my beliefs, I believe, are the ways to eliminate as much human suffering as possible.
Yeah.
Which I could be wrong, I don't think I am, but there's a potential, and I try and seek out those potentialities if someone disagrees with me, because I want to know. Is there a better way we could be doing things? Is there a better way?
There's always better ways we can do things.
Is there a better way I could be doing things?
I see parts of my relationship where I'm like, I'm a great boyfriend, but then I'm like, I could do this better. I could do that better. It doesn't matter how great you are. There's always things you could do better.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing about life, is we're here to grow.
Exactly.
It's about the journey, not the destination, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're a rock and roll star, then you get to that destination pretty quick because terrible lifestyle choices.
Yeah. He was trying to make it as an artist. I'm not trying to make it as an artist. That's not a goal. I want a family.
I don't think being an artist is a very good idea.
No.
Because
especially if you're trying.
Well, the music industry is so corrupt.
Yep.
Like 50 Cent, I don't know if you've heard of him.
I've heard of him.
We're in Christian circles, so rappers aren't like, especially like the secular ones, aren't really well known. So.
Yeah.
But he talked about it in one of his books. Like it was either one of his books or something. He said, it's like, he sold drugs on the street, but that in no way prepared him for the levels of evil he faced in the music industry.
Yeah.
And so where he came from, that rough kind of environment, and that still didn't prepare him for that level of just awfulness.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's kind of eye-opening.
It's crazy.
And then I see these music stars go in as young, bright prospects, and then they just get ground to a pulp. You can see the light leave their eyes, and it's just like, holy cow. Like, what's going on there? Like, I feel bad for these people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing happens with Hollywood. Like, let's talk about Jennifer Lawrence for a second.
She was a good, devout Christian. Was.
Yeah. Now she's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
It's just like...
Her family went to Southeast.
Well, yeah. I'm... You know, it's like... You see these people just get chewed up by these entertainment industries.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what side you're on. It's just like... It's exploitative, and I don't appreciate it. It's not good. It's not good. Not like that's where things like what was it, Harvey Weinstein? I think that's the one. And then you also had Jeffrey Epstein. You know, you had people like that.
Diddy. More recent.
Let's not talk about all of the oil. That's why the government got tipped off. There was so much oil there.
Oh, that's wrong. Oh, that's wrong.
I'm out of line, but I'm right.
Oh, dang.
So, you know, it's like, but, you know, you see these predatory people get into power because it's an exploitative environment.
Exactly.
So I just, you know, there's a cost to fame. There is.
There always will be.
It's, you know, I've seen even YouTubers talk about this, like Markiplier. Like, he says it's really hard because no matter where he goes, he gets recognized, and he will never have. He said he would never have a normal relationship with anybody ever again.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
It is.
That is terrifying. Like, my heart goes out to the famous, but those that are locked up in like NDAs and all those kind of things because they can't truly express themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They can't be themselves because they're locked into whatever environment they got plunged into, perhaps not of their own free will, but of what seemed alluring at the time.
Yeah. And on that happy note, I think we should probably get going. So,
well, it was really nice to be here.
It was great to have you.
Yeah.
Whenever you want, you're more than welcome on this show.
Perhaps I'll have a little more sleep next time.
Hopefully.
I've been up since about 9 o'clock last night. So.
Ouch, dang.
Well, I mean, I did rest, and I'm on a cup of coffee, but it's wearing off quick.
If you guys aren't, make sure you like and you have subscribe to the video. No.
Like and subscribe and hit the bell icon.
And hit the like button.
Yeah.
That way you can support me as a podcast host. There we go.
Yeah.
Because I mean, one day, I mean, it would be awesome if I could do this full time. I don't think it's a very likely scenario, but it's definitely a scenario that could possibly happen one day. It's not in the foreseeable future right now, but hey, I mean, anything can happen. God is a big God.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll see you guys next time with a new guest. So stay cool. Ramble a little bit to your friends about us. Any last remarks?
Drill, baby, drill. Yeah.